Hello, welcome back to the channel. So, as in June 6, yesterday, ICE conducted a raid in the LA area and the Fashion District and also Paramount and arrested about 118 people in the area and also Home Depot area. And how is it that they know that Hispanics or most of them are going to be in the Home Depot area?
All right, we want to bring in our investigative reporter, Eric Leonard. He's on the phone with us now as we continue here with Roland Spruill's shot. Situations like this where you've got a mass of people that are protesting, that are beginning to cause an impact on the rest of the city, whether that's blocking traffic or doing other things that would endanger public property or other people who are not involved in all of this, really necessitates the use of local law enforcement to try to bring and restore some sort of order. And so this is the kind of moment where this one event that was at least initially isolated to some of these federal buildings around Southern California, or at least those were the focal points of many of these demonstrations.
Crazy. Like, this has been going on and crazy. I'm pretty sure some of y'all seen these videos that's been going on online and all that crazy stuff in LA. So just the thing, other thing that also been going on that's crazy. It's been military tactics using. They've been throwing tear gas, many other tear gas, stun grenades, and many other tactics and things that's been utilized or used by the military. And this is something that has not been seen. I'm pretty sure there have been in LA that happened way back in the history that have got to this amount of craziness, but not in this form or shape of immigration crisis. So with that being said, the protests have been going crazy right now. As we can see,
have now expanded outward and has created an impossible situation for the local authorities. They can't leave the freeway blocked. They can't leave streets blocked forever. And certainly, as we've seen over the last couple of days, when these demonstrations hit some sort of a critical mass, oftentimes there are people within those crowds that begin to cause a disturbance beyond just demonstrating, holding signs, chanting, and maybe even trying to get in the faces of some of the officers who are there.
Been throwing concrete blocks. Man, they have even gone to a point of driving motorcycles into police cars, burning cars, like people going crazy in the Paramount area. If you have seen, like, it's going wild. Even in LA, the 101 highway have been shut down because the protesters have been there. People have been waving Mexican flags all over the place, like they have no fear of authority right now.
So this is a situation where they cannot avoid being involved, they being the local law enforcement agencies. It's not only the LAPD and the LA County Sheriff's Department. We've also heard that the California Highway Patrol is trying to bring in a lot of people. In fact, I think we had on our air either last night or the night before this long line of California Highway Patrol cars that was moving into Southern California. We understand there are officers who have been sent from all over the state to be here to build up a robust presence, specifically in case of events like this, where we've seen demonstrations in the past where people try to take over the freeways to make a point or to try to force all of us to pay attention to what they are doing. And that is the conundrum that local law enforcement now has as a result, you might argue, of the actions of the federal government.
LAPD and the CHP been using tear gas, flash bomb, and also, I mean, it's been the most effective one I've seen so far for people that have been disruptive and not listening to authority. Those are one of the ones they've been using. And in the midst of this thing, there's been over 39 to 45 protesters arrested. I've asked him this question, like, if it was like a Lives Matter thing, I feel like a lot more people would have been arrested, but that's not the case here. This is a different story that involves worldwide problems. Right now, it matter where you black, blue, red, or Chinese. If you don't have the papers, the right documents to be in the United States, you will be deported. It looks like that is where it's going. And President Trump have mobilized 2,000 National Guard under Title 10, and 300 arrived in LA. At National Guard, 300 of them have went to LA with the Marines on standby. Okay, that have a lot of people off. Like, why would that need the Marines? The Marines are mostly out of the country, not in the country. The National Guard are the ones that are in charge of the country. so those people can come out. But bringing the Marines in, like, that should show you how serious this situation have got. Imagine having to use your military on your own citizens, civilian. That, well, in this case, will that be citizens? I mean, citizens have members, family members. Yeah, citizens, civilians. So let's not even mix that up.
LA is out of control. The police can't handle things. And in fact, that's the rationale we were hearing from some of the leaders in the federal law enforcement and the federal government about why National Guard troops were activated and dispatched to Southern California. We understand, by the way, the number that arrived initially was in the hundreds. We're expecting up to 2,000, I think, was what was in the order or the memo that was signed by President Trump.
You mentioned the National Guard. There they are, those CHP officers. And Eric, you mentioned the National Guard. Do they play, for lack of a better words, by a different set of policies or rules than local law enforcement do? How would they handle the situation if we were to see as many as, say, 2,000 troops arrive from the National Guard?
Typically, it comes through the state governor. And that's a critical thing because that means that the troops are under the control of the civilian side of the government. Now, remember, the military operates in sort of its own isolated world, separate from the rest of us. You hear police officers referring to all of us as civilians, but remember, they're civilians. They are a civilian law enforcement agency that is designed specifically to keep law and order so nobody needs the military involved. And so when National Guard troops are activated by a governor, they fall under the control of the civilian side of public safety and law enforcement, and their purpose would be directed by whoever it is that's in charge of an incident like this, and that again would fall to local domestic law enforcement bound by all of the rules that apply to any ordinary police officer.
We have solidarity in Francisco. Where I feel like, why am I having an accent saying San Francisco? In San Francisco, protesters erupted. One outside the Immigration Service building turned tense, but remained small-scaled. Okay, those people also in San Francisco. I guess this is mostly like the Mexican. I know in California, the Hispanics dominate that area very well. So that is definitely from the Hispanic sides, I'm guessing. Border implications. The unrest highlight lingering tension around sanctuary policies, immigration rights, federal overreach have raised concerns about escalating use of military power to manage civil disorder.
Whose rules and what laws are the Guard members operating under? I don't have a clear answer to that. The people I've been talking to at City Hall and in local law enforcement also don't have a clear answer. We were asking earlier today, is there some sort of point of coordination where there's someone from the Guard who's in a command center or on the phone with the local emergency people? It doesn't sound like that's happened yet. There are messages being exchanged, but it's not being organized the way it would be had the call come from the state and the state said, hey, we're out of people, we need the help of National Guard. And in a circumstance like that, they would just simply fall under the control of the local authorities. What we're seeing here is, I know the word unprecedented is used far too often, but truly unprecedented in a generation. There has not been a time, from what I'm told from people in the state and from local authorities, that the National Guard has been brought in under federal control. I want to say it's since the 1960s. So this is uncharted territory, the best we've been able to determine from our contacts in local government.
The tensions have raised because they're using military power to deal with civil stuff. Like the Marines, for example. Why would they have to bring the Marines in? Which is not, that's the National Guard's job. Okay, so some of the things that fuel this, like I said, mostly, is the military tactics they have been using with the Marines. And also, protesters did pose a significant threat to the public safety. Now, let's say you are not part of this protest, or you have nothing to do with it, or the protesters around your area could be destructing, as we've seen in videos, they've been destructing a lot of things around, vandalizing areas. So that thing that is not good, and the city is the ones that's going to suffer from that. It says, I want to ask this question too. Does the of ICE signal a major crackdown or an unlawful arrest been on. And if these people do get arrested, where are they getting sent to? Is it sent to El Salvador, like we've seen in the videos and the prison? How it is there? Because mostly big criminals get sent there. Some would argue that if you coming into the country illegally, you are a criminal. So we're gonna leave that up to you guys to debate that on what you guys think about that, and what you guys also think about how everything been going on in California. Not only California, we've seen what happened in Minnesota not long ago. It started in Minnesota, probably another place before that. It is happening in every state. We've seen videos of people getting arrested at graduations, people getting arrested at elementary schools. Like, what is the way of ICE arresting these family members, people, or even illegal members? What is a proper way? What do you guys think it should be a proper way of them being arrested? And what steps should they take? What are the steps that you think could be implied and used in this case? Do you think it's necessary for the Marines to step in, or it's not necessary? Do you think the National Guard is doing a good job at de-escalating the issues? Let me know in the comment section, because this is getting out of hand. As in today, it don't seem like it's getting any better. It's only getting worse and worse. And like we've seen, they've been waving a lot of Mexican flags. And not only the Mexicans, this affects everybody. Mexicans, every Africans, this crackdown is for anybody. And I've been seeing a lot of people, to my surprise, people are with for this. I've been seeing a lot of comments in the comment section like, you guys are surprised, like this is what voted for. Seems like people are happy that this crackdown is happening. Let me know in the comment section also, what is reasons why you are with this crackdown and want these illegals to leave the country? Is it because they are taking away your jobs? Because many people would argue when it comes to working and building in America, mostly Hispanics does that. Hispanics are the ones that work hard and they are in the sun. Americans are not known for doing the hard work labor. And also for businesses, how will that work for businesses? So most businesses, as we know, in those areas, hire illegals to come work for them in order to make payment very easy for them. That way they don't have to pay them a lot, and they would have to do the same amount of work, or even better, more work than the Americans or legal citizens. In this case, I would say that will also help in a way, but it will also hurt businesses. I think a lot of businesses will go bankrupt and shut down in that way, but it will also bring a lot of opportunities for the citizens that are in America. What are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comment section, and we will be back to talk about it more. Thank you. And also, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to my, so I'll be making more videos and my it going. Thank you very much for watching the channel. Do not forget to subscribe. It doesn't hurt you nothing, and it helps me a lot. Thank you.